Alright, this is Chris. And I'm going to show these fixtures being used for several different tasks. Well, mainly today it's going to polish the 6-inch aluminum shells. I'll have them cranked up so I can spin them at full speed with the drill. Do that. Then I have the drill plugged into a power strip right near where I'm working in case, you know, something bad happens. I can hit the power quickly. The other thing is you have to be careful. This is a piece of rotating machinery. So this nut potentially, I mean, it's pretty smooth, but it could catch loose clothing and tear your t-shirt right off you, your shorts off you, or even worse, maybe give you a few spins too. We don't want any of that to happen. You have to be very careful with machinery. When you buy this component from me, you're buying the parts, okay? I'm not responsible for how you assemble it or what you do with it. I'll sell you the pieces. So you got to use your common sense and know-how around machinery and power equipment to be safe. Later on, this is the expanding attachment jig with or fixture with 1 to 8.5 inch length arms, which are good for like up to 15 or 16-inch diameter shells. I have longer arms that connect to these. That unit costs more because it's a lot more custom machine parts. But what I'll show is you can replace these tabs with just a piece of plywood. I just made this a little while ago. Made 3 pieces of plywood, screw them all together, drilled these holes so everything's lined up the same dimension, routed the edges a little bit to have hopefully edge to shell contact instead of something different. And then you can just bolt or screw that in at different dimensions, and with the same basic unit be able to expand it out to much larger diameters. The idea with these holes is that you can run a bungee cord through these internally, and that'll help keep them centered when you're initially putting the shell on the unit, and then the bungee cord would expand as necessary for this thing to fit the shell. But I'm going to work on polishing these shells. I have various sponge pads. I have a fine one, and I'm going to wet sand it to help keep the dust down. So we'll see how this works. Excuse me. Notice I used my dry hand to turn off the power. I don't know what I just did, but figure that out. Other than making a mess of myself. The way I have this mounted, this The idea with this is that it pushes on that internal assembly to keep it tight. Well, this thing, the way it's spinning, it actually tightens up more and it expanded the shell. So that's why there's a gap here. This did not move on the threaded rod. It just sucked the internals together more and expanded the shell so that the shell can give. Now, if I would spin it the other way, just by reversing the drill, then it would want to open it up and push out of this. So that would, you know, that's another option also. The thing worked in either direction. Now I expect I'll be like spinning these aluminum shells quite a bit. I got 3 of them, but just want to demonstrate that. Now let's show you how to take this off. Loosen up my shaft clamp. Pull that out of the way. Now, if I turn this to the, oh yeah, it really tightened it up. Turn it to the left, it'll loosen it. See, then I can slide it off. Now these shells are already drilled for my R1 lugs. For the R1 lugs, and the bearing edges are done. That was all done on a lathe. Mosquitoes are attacking. But this is a unit configured for the 6-inch type of shells. And this is using, so depending on what kind of shell diameters you want to use for this, just let me know and make sure you have the right parts. This configuration here is for mainly for snare drum sizes. Probably go down to, I intended this to be 6 inches, but I think at 8 inches is a safer number to say. And then upwards of 16-inch diameter shells. Probably would go a little greater, but it's, I'll say 16 for now. And, let's look at that. But this, you know, based on how you turn it, the one piece, this is threaded. So this piece is threaded, it will change axially the direction based upon how you rotate the threaded rod. This other piece is free spinning, so that's not going to go anywhere, and that's held in place by 2 shaft clamps also. So you can extend this out. And it's hooked to a drill, so it doesn't turn as easily as this one over here. It's not hooked up to anything right now, so it spins very easily. I can change aspects of that. These are high-density polyethylene plastic, just like these internal hubs are also. All right, let's conclude that for now.